Did you know that in Fallout 4 there's over 111,000 lines of spoken dialogue? That's more than Fallout 3 and Skyrim combined. The player character alone has 13,000 spoken lines for each the male and female character. Even Codsworth is programmed to speak over 900 different names.
Mr. Django.
Did you know? In Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, if you happen to find a globe in-game, you may notice it looks a little bit different. It seems the continent of Africa has combined to form one mega landform with Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Ever since, speculative fans online have always argued if this is just a mistake or if this is continuity. What do you think? Did you know? In Fallout 3, the Lone Wanderer as a baby was voiced by a 1-year-old Jake Howard, the son of none other than Todd Howard, executive producer, game director, and overseer of Bethesda Softworks. Did you know? In Fallout New Vegas, with his checkered suit and ties to the Chairman Gang, our friend Benny begins to have an uncanny resemblance to Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the real-life American mobster said to be the driving force behind the development of the Las Vegas Strip that we know today.
Coincidence? I think not!
Did you know? In Fallout 4, with a keen eye along the coast of the Commonwealth, you'll be able to spot a few messages in bottles. 6 to be exact, each one containing some form of distress call. One specifically reads, "Come out to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs." This being a cheeky reference to Bruce Willis in the famous movie Die Hard. He says this in the movie sarcastically to illustrate his predicament.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs.
Did you know in Fallout 3, the cars in game are heavily based on the nuclear-powered concept car by Ford, given the name the Ford Nucleon. Though the concept was only demonstrated as a scale model, the car was said to use a steam engine powered by uranium fission. This explains the radiation caused by their destruction. Did you know that in Fallout 3, the iconic sound you hear when using VATS is actually the same sound that was used in the beginning and end of combat in the original Fallout? Did you know in Fallout New Vegas, if you happen to choose the Wild Wasteland perk at the start of the game, you have the chance to find an old fridge in the desert with a fedora-wearing skeleton inside. This is an Easter egg to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, in which Jones takes shelter in a fridge to avoid a nuclear blast. Did you know in Fallout 4, on a holotape found inside the Prydwen, Dr. Quinlan references the Underlane Guide of Comic Values. This is a reference to the real-world Overstreet Guide, considered the ultimate reference for comic book values by collectors.
Even before the bombs fell, this was the rarest issue. The one where Grognak dies and comes back to life?
Yes, Scribe. I've read the 2076 Underlane Price Guide from cover to cover, so I'm well aware of its past value.
Did you know in Fallout 3? When using the Fat Man, any player with a sharp ear will be able to hear a rewarding ding sound in the reload. This was just as much rewarding for the employees of Bethesda. This was the same sound of the cafeteria bell in which Bethesda announced lunchtime in the study. Did you know in Fallout 3? Originally, Med X was to be called Morphine, but for a worldwide release and a legal game rating in Australia, they had to make this small change. Ironically, this worked out for the game's lore, as there was never really any real-world drugs in the game to begin with.
Just give me some goddamn Med X and fuck off, will ya?
Did you know in the original Fallout, deep in the Mariposa military base, when deciding the fate of the super mutant factory, you have an option for a 3-minute self-destruct sequence. Upon activation, the counter actually starts at 300 seconds, in fact making this a 5-minute counter instead. Did you know in Fallout 3? If you're real quiet and sneak up behind a Brahmin, press the activate button. Your character will then tip it over. Like a jerk.
What a guy.
Did you know in Fallout 76? If you head on over to the Big Bend Tunnel West, you can talk to Rudy Fernandez, and he might just say,
Rudy has wares, if you have caps.
This is a fun reference similar to the line spoken by all the Khajiit in the Elder Scrolls series.
Khajiit as wares, if you have coin.
Did you know in Fallout 3, the Power of the Atom side quest and the overall fate of Megaton was removed from the Japanese version of the game? Alongside this, the Fat Man weapon was renamed to the Nuka Launcher because of its relation to real historical events.
The anticipation is palpable, isn't it?
Did you know in Fallout 4 Far Harbor, with a little bit of charisma and a lot of courage, you can wine, dine, and make it with a robot? You can head on down to Vault 118, keep your eyes peeled for a fine-looking robo-brain with a yellow sun hat. This is Gilda, and she would love to get to know you more. After the deed is done, you'll receive the Lover's Embrace effect to seal the deal.
Don't date robots! Brought to you by
Space Pope.
Did you know in Fallout 76, if you head on over to the isolated cabin, you'll find a very scientific doghouse in the backyard. Written on the ground between the periodic table and the dog bowl is a field equation first published by Albert Einstein in 1915. This is a double Easter egg, not only for Albert Einstein's equation, but also for everyone's favorite furry time traveler, Einstein from Back to the Future.
Einstein, you little devil!
Did you know in Fallout 4 Nuka World? In a building just northeast of Nuka World, you can find a fire pit with a sword and a prompt to kindle. Activate to light the bonfire, and out will come Stimpaks. This being a clever reference to the Dark Souls series. Did you know in Fallout New Vegas, you can pimp out your Pip-Boy? It's called the Pimp-Boy 3 billion, and it can only be obtained from an unmarked quest given by Mick in Freeside. If you can somehow convince the Omertas to buy guns from his supply line again, the Pip-Boy is yours. Did you know in Fallout 4, the Tunnel Snakes still got it? If you partner up with companion McCready, take him to a dimly lit space, and when the moment's right, he'll let out a soft...
Tunnel snakes rule! Sorry. I heard that a long time ago.
A fun reference to the real gang in Fallout 3.
Because we're the Tunnel Snakes, and we rule.